Hello, Di here from Timeslip Softworks. Welcome to the 34th development video for Vigilantes. In this video I'm going to cover the changes which have been made in the second part of the version 15 update, which is now available from Humble. So you can get the latest Linux, Windows and Mac versions from Humble right now. In the second part of this update, the first non-combat encounter has been added, and to very briefly summarise this encounter, a group of Church of the Final Exodus acolytes have almost kicked someone's door in, but they've ran away, and you have to come along and you have to attempt to try and calm this person down, and if possible to repair the door. I think non-combat encounters are sort of a good addition to add some extra variation to the game flow. So rather than you're always going to be fighting when you click launch a mission, I think it's good that there will be a little variation there where you can use sort of skill checks to resolve a situation. 3 new perks have also been added, and I'll just show you these now. Let's see. You'll probably notice that there are some UI changes as well. I have done a little bit of that in this update. Let's see. Okay, here's the first though. Now it's worth mentioning the requirements for all these perks. They're unlikely to be the final ones. Basically, I have to get as many of the perks in the final game as possible, and then try and balance them in relation to one another, so everything's kind of provisional, as are the effects. I suspect these perks aren't really as potent as they should be just yet, but to give you what the current situation is with them, Nocturnal basically requires utility 5, and between the hours of 8 PM and 8 AM you gain 1 action point, 10% damage, and you take 10% less damage, but you have a minus 5% chance to hit outside these times. Now this might be good in a character that is very skilled in their primary combat skill. I tried this with Amelia De Soto, who's sort of more of a generalist. She leans a bit more towards firearms, and I found it wasn't a good perk for her really, because her chance to hit isn't really that high anyway. So this might be good when you're later on, when you've got a very high skilled character that's very good with hand to hand or with ranged, and the 5% isn't really going to matter that much. It's something to look at balancing as time goes on. Critical charge has a requirement of character level 5, and it increases the critical chance by 4 for each non-critical attack made. So every time you make an attack against an enemy that lands but isn't critical, it increases the chance that your next attack will be a critical. The chance is probably 4% is probably too small, but that's something that can be fixed relatively easily in the future. And you can also switch between, if you're using hand to hand, this bonus carries over if you want to if you want to fire a weapon. So it just carries over. It's linked to your character, and it's independent of what weapon you're using. And the last is Insult, and this works quite similar to the tagged perk, if you're familiar with that. Basically, it's an activatable perk, which you click on the button in the UI, and then you right click on the enemy that you want to apply it to. Current requirements are leadership 5. It will be a leadership based skill, and what it does, it increases the critical chance for all attacks against the enemy character by currently 7% for the remainder of the battle. So it doesn't wear off, and your allies also gain this bonus. So any attack against this character will have a 7% bonus. Now I have noticed this might be useful against characters that have an awful lot of HP, that are going to basically absorb multiple attacks, so you have a greater chance of getting a critical. I don't know if in its current state there's an awful lot of point in applying this to a basic bad guy. That is, unless you have 2 AP left over and you just want something, you want something to do with it. Moving on, I've spent quite a lot of time working on the UI as well. Now, in particular, this section here, I think the layout is quite a lot better than it was before, and it also exposes some extra information. So you can also see the wealth level for the tile, and this can be useful if you want to damage a gang economically. You can look for their tiles with a high wealth level, And basically the crime rate is the percentage of this wealth that is actually converted into income. So a high wealth level with a high crime rate will be giving the gangs a lot of money. So you could work on bringing the crime rate down in these levels to kind of undermine their economic basis. I've also worked on the tactical and surveillance mission debriefing. I thought that the debriefings, they weren't showing enough information, and they also weren't laid out very well. So I've worked on improving the layout and providing more information on the debriefing. Typically I found with UI, there are a lot of these screens that I'm not happy with yet, and it generally takes about 2 or 3 goes to get the layout kind of to where it should be. So I will work, this is something I'll be working on kind of from a polish perspective going forward. Simple camera movement has also been added, and zooming. Now there is a reason for this. I suppose it was very easy to do, but the reason is that it's extremely likely that the city map will become bigger than what it is now. So I'd like for you to be able to zoom out and in case you want to see it a bit better. Probably not massively bigger, but it's quite likely that it'll get bigger. Now, it's worth mentioning that all these graphics are provisional, so we'll work on these at some point in the future. I've also added flee areas to all the maps, so you won't be able to flee in every situation. There are a couple of situations. If you encounter an allied vigilante, or you encounter a temporary character, you can't flee in those situations. You can't flee in the first mission, but in every other situation you should be able to flee. Now there'll be a button up here in the combat area, up around this area, and if you click on that, it shows you the flee area and zooms in on it, and basically you get your guys there, and there's a button in this panel here that allows you to flee once you're on top of it, and that's how you extract your characters. Apart from that, there've been a fairly numerous number of smaller tweaks and bug fixes. I'm not going to go through these, but before I go, I would like to say thanks to Ushas, Nomad, Nathan and Night Eyes for the help with, especially the help on the bugs, because they've turned up quite a few bugs, and also provided me information on how to recreate them, and this makes it very, very quick to if I know how to recreate the bug, I can just do that and then I can fix it. Whereas if I were just to have to try and find them all myself, naturally it'd be very hard to find all those bugs just by whatever play testing I do. So thanks a lot for the help and for the suggestions. It's very helpful, and that's more or less it for this update. I'm going to start version 16 pretty much right away, and I'll keep you updated on the progress. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.